Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into my official week number 2 instant reaction. We're going to be kicking it off in Buffalo. The Bills destroying the Raiders, getting back on track. They were listed in this game -8, -8.5. They easily cover. Josh Allen, kind of a weird start to this game. At one point, he was 19 of 23, but for only like 170 yards. He finishes with a really high completion percentage, though. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. James Cook out of nowhere. 17 carries, 123 yards. Devontae Adams has an early touchdown. Believe it or not, Vegas went up 7-0 and then got outscored 38-7. Jimmy Garoppolo, horrible day. The Raiders, people were wondering, they started 1-0. Buffalo had that demoralizing loss randomly after Aaron Rodgers' injury. You'd think they'd easily win that Monday night game. Josh Allen looks poor, but he comes back, bounces back at home, and the Bills improve to 1-1. Vegas falls to 1-1. Next, we've got an AFC North matchup. What is going on with Joe Burrow right now? You don't want to overreact because Joe Burrow and the Bengals started 0-2 last year as well. But my goodness, 41 pass attempts, 222 yards. T. Higgins had a really good game. Jamar Chase, quiet once again. People are starting to wonder, is Joe Burrow still dealing with a nagging injury? They can't really run the ball. And the other thing, while I was watching this game, name one significantly above average defensive player that the Bengals have. They have like okay average players, slightly above average, but they really don't have any type of premier defensive talent. And that's really going to hurt Cincinnati because they just gave Joe Burrow a big contract. They're going to have to decide with T. Higgins what they do there. That's why I thought maybe you consider trading T. Higgins, trying to get some defensive talent because you already have Jamar Chase and Boyd. They're also going to have to give Jamar Chase a massive contract, so we will see. Lamar Jackson, mistake-free football, 0 interceptions. Baltimore able to run the ball there at the end. Cincinnati, especially those jet sweeps, they couldn't stop them at all. Baltimore improves to 2-0. That's a huge road win in Cincinnati. The Bengals, will see. That is rough going to 0-2. Next, of course, this game went to overtime. I swear, the Titans are just going to play. Every single one of their games is going to be close this year. The Titans win 27-24. Justin Herbert, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Keenan Allen has an impressive showing. 8 for 111 and 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, not great. 25 carries, just 79 yards, but he gets a touchdown. Tannehill, the 3 interceptions last week. He comes back and doesn't turn the ball over at all. Burks with a decent day, but Tennessee gets the win here. That's a big win. They're 1-1 now. The Chargers are basically the exact same thing every year. They're a 500 football team that gets a lot of hype. That's basically all the Chargers are every single year. Next, we have Seattle going West Coast to East Coast on the road, my upset special, and they pull it off. Geno Smith with a bounce-back game, 300 pass yards, 2 touchdowns. Jared Goff, the brutal pick 6. He was playing so well, and he still had a really good game, just that 1 interception, 3 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes over 100. Seattle had a bevy of receivers that had several catches. Geno was really spreading the ball around. It was hilarious watching Geno Smith, not sure what he should have done there right before the 2-minute warning. Didn't want to throw the ball out of bounds, when in reality he should have done that considering it was the 2-minute warning. He took like a 30-yard loss, and Seattle had to punt from the back of their end zone. It gave Detroit a free field goal to tie the game. That was Detroit's big chance, though. They were down at the time 31-28. They got great field position. You got to score a touchdown. They didn't do it. They got a field goal. Seattle gets the ball to start overtime. Those fickle overtime rules, and they end up walking it off with a touchdown. Next, we've got the battle of rookie QBs. Anthony Richardson, could he have had the greatest fantasy performance in history? The world may never know. He had 2 rushing touchdowns early in this game, got a concussion, but their backup is one of the better backups in the NFL. Gardner Minshew steadies the ship, leads Indianapolis to a win. They were sitting pick'em. I said Indianapolis would win this game, and they do. And C.J. Stroud, look, you can say, oh, they're all garbage yards, and yes, a lot of them were garbage yards, but if you're a rookie in your second start, you're throwing for 384. That is no joke. C.J. Stroud has legitimate arm talent. Nico Collins is looking like a really solid receiver. 7 for 146 and a touchdown. He's a big body that C.J. Stroud is going to use. That sounded a little bit wrong, but guys, CJ Stroud developing nicely. You hate to see what happened to Anthony Richardson, but it's one of those things. You got to protect your body. Anthony Richardson sure looks really good. Hopefully he will be back next week, but you don't know with those concussions. The Bears, oh my goodness, everyone is turning on Justin Fields right now. I'm not going to turn on him yet. I'm not going to turn on Justin. We're going to wait a little bit longer. They end up losing this game. I did have Chicago plus the 3. It was looking okay early, but this game was completely dominated by Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay's offense. They were on the field the entire time. Chicago's defense is horrible. And Justin Fields, he's not helping the situation. You know, the interception, the pick 6, that was kind of unfortunate. It was a little dump off to the running back, a halfback screen pass. You also got DJ Moore making an appearance, though, 6 catches, 104. Mike Evans goes 6 for 171 and a touchdown. He had a blatant push-off on a 70-yard reception they didn't call. That was ridiculous. And I'm not even a Bears fan, but it was ridiculous, folks. Baker Mayfield, very impressive, 300 yards, no turnovers. White, the running back, goes for 73 yards and a touchdown. Tampa Bay, you know Tampa Bay is going to go 7-10 this year. They're not going to get a very high pick, and it's going to be tough for them to get an elite quarterback because of that. But you got to give Baker Mayfield credit, the former number 1 overall pick, a little bit of a journeyman. He's out there playing well. Next, you do have Kansas City going to Jacksonville and winning this game 17-9. So KC relying on their defense. Mahomes does go over 300. Sky Moore, 70 yards. Travis Kelce caught a touchdown, but he was kind of quiet. How about Christian Kirk out of nowhere? 11 receptions, the PPR god. Calvin Ridley, by the way, made a crazy catch, but this is just a situation. Jacksonville completely shut down. Trevor Lawrence, unfortunate performance. Right now, Jacksonville really needs a legitimate running back because Travis Etienne, he's really not a between-the-tackles type player. And in this one, you know, you see Kansas City utilize their defense. On the road, they end up covering the 3.5-point spread. Next, we've got Atlanta beating the Packers. The Packers completely blow this game in the fourth quarter, and honestly, the Packers deserve to lose this football game. If you're giving up 450 total yards to a Desmond Ridder-led offense, you deserve to lose. By the way, Bijan Robinson is ridiculous. 19 carries, 124. He had to have forced 10 missed tackles. It was crazy. Jordan Love, I think Jordan Love this year is going to be a game manager. 150 passing yards, that's nothing special, but the 3 passing touchdowns, no turnovers, that's what you like to see. Again, this game is on the Packers defense and how bad they played against a really underwhelming Atlanta offense. Desmond Ridder was okay in this game, but it was just a situation where Atlanta, they had like 28 first downs. The Packers only had 17. Moving on to the afternoon games, oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. The Giants, they come back, they're resurrected from the dead. They were outscored 60-0 in the first 6 quarters, and it's such a shame that the Cardinals had to go for 2 when they went up, when they scored 26 points. If the Cardinals would have just kicked the extra point, we could have had a push on the Giants -4. Unfortunately, they don't come back and get the cover, but they do get the win. Daniel Jones, big fantasy day with the rushing touchdown. He had 60 rushing yards. Saquon Barkley, 2 total touchdowns. They needed to resurrect themselves in the second half. The Giants did after the horrible Week 1 performance. And I mean, this is a game against the Cardinals team we all think is tanking. They end up coming back, getting a crazy win. Josh Dobbs, big first half, really nothing in the second half. James Conner had a 100-yard day and a touchdown. If you have him in fantasy, sell high immediately. That would be my advice to you. The Cardinals, they're still going for Caleb Williams. They're 0-2. It is working out perfectly. I don't think they're going to bring Kyler Murray back. I guess we will see. You've got the 49ers beating the Rams. The Rams, very competitive early in this game. They easily cover, well, I wouldn't say easily, but they do cover the 8-point spread. Brock Purdy, he does what he always does. He's a good game manager. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's not going to lose you the game. And they do get a very nice road win. Matt Stafford made some really impressive throws, but overall it's tough. The 55 pass attempts, 2 interceptions. Kyren Williams, huge name, absolute breakout running back from Notre Dame. How about Puka? He's legitimately the best receiver in the NFL. The best receiver in the NFL. absolutely amazing. 15 catches, the new Cooper Kupp. I drafted him. He was on my bench in week 1. I played him this week. He had like 30 points. But you do have San Francisco moving to 2-0 there. They end up winning that game. Next, we've got the Dallas Cowboys easily beating the Jets. The Cowboys coming into this game around 8-point favorites, and the Jets just couldn't get off the field on defense. And this Jets team is going to be brutal to watch, especially when they're at MetLife, because they're going to have a horrifically bad offense and a really good defense. That's going to make for a lot of really boring, low-scoring games without Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Dak Prescott was efficient, 31 to 38. Kind of weird, though, just 255 yards. CeeDee Lamb had a really impressive game. Tony Pollard, a lot of carries, not a ton of yards. It's tough running against that Jets defensive front. And then you do have Garrett Wilson, just 2 catches. He did have the long touchdown, but, I mean, Zach Wilson's 12 of 27, 3 interceptions. He's just simply not good enough, man. He's really not. They're going to have to try and find a veteran, some journeyman quarterback to insert. I mean, you would love it if the Jets could trade for Gardner Minshew or something. They would legitimately have a chance maybe at 9 or 10 wins with that defense, but this was just a complete blowout. It wasn't even close the entire game. The Jets couldn't get off the field in the first half. And the second half, they were down 18 to 10. It was just a trouncing. Next, we've got the Commanders. How about this game? 35 to 33, the late Russell Wilson Hail Mary. What a weird game for Russell Wilson. He comes out, he attempted like 9 total passes in the first half, but had 180 yards or something. He had the really long touchdown to Marvin Mims, who's developing, but the Commanders come all the way back after being down early, and they win this game 35 to 33. Denver had the Hail Mary to Brandon Johnson, a creative player, but they were not able to convert the 2-point attempt to make it 35 to 35. Funny enough, I did say to take the over in this game. I think it was 39, and honestly, I just got lucky. I just said, might as well just try it. I don't know. Both of these teams didn't score much last week. That means they're due. Very surprising, though. A game in Denver with these two quarterbacks, 35 to 33. If you're a Commanders fan, you have to love what you saw from Sam Howell on the road in a hostile environment, 300 yards, no interceptions, and a really good win there. They're 2-0 now. The future is looking pretty good right now for the Commanders. Denver Broncos, it's been a very tough 2 games. They fall to 0-2 after being favorites in both games. They end up losing both games at home, too, for Denver. They lose. Wow. And they're in a very tough division. But, guys, that is going to do it for my official NFL Week 2 recap. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.